Hey guys, welcome to Digit.in, and today we're going to take a quick overview look at the QiKU Q Terra smartphone. The smartphone launched in India recently, and if you have an invite for the smartphone, which you can get on the QiKU website, the phone will cost you 19,999, and if you don't want an invite and just want to buy it directly, the smartphone can be yours for 21,999. So let's kick things off with the build and design. Now, as you can see, the device has quite the unibody design. It has a magnesium and aluminum unibody design. The edges are curved, which makes it comfortable to hold. It is a really big smartphone with a 6-inch display. It is better for two-handed operations. Now, the 6-inch display has a resolution of 1920 by 1080, which means it's a full HD display. And as QiKU claims, the display has an 83% display to body ratio, which is quite large. As you can see, it has nearly no bezels on the side of the device. Of course, the top and the bottom has bezels, which is fine because it houses the earpiece, the front-facing camera, and the capacitive buttons at the bottom for back, home, and of course, multitasking. Now, as you can see from the display, the multitasking menu looks a little different. That's because the smartphone is running on Android Lollipop 5.0, but it does have its own custom skin on it. We'll get to that in a bit. Now, on the side of the device, we have two slots that come out, and this is for, of course, the two SIM cards and one micro SD card, which can be housed. So at the bottom, we have the micro USB port and the speaker grill. The speaker is fairly loud, and at the back we have two 13-megapixel cameras with the dual tone LED flash. Now, both the cameras are made by a Sony sensor, and QiKU is really touting this because one camera clicks a picture in color and the other in black and white, and both the images are fused together to get you that really sharp, good image that QiKU claims. So that's the camera, and of course there's a fingerprint sensor. You have an app which you can use to calibrate the fingerprint sensor, and it takes about 0.5 seconds from the minute you lock the device to when you touch your finger to the fingerprint sensor for it to unlock, like you saw here. So that was a look at the build, design, and of course the fingerprint sensor of the phone. Now, moving of course to the user interface, this is the QiKU user interface, the 360 UI as QiKU is calling it, that's skinned on the device. As you can see, there is no app drawer, and you have a drop-down notification which gives you certain shortcuts as well as access to your notifications, and you have a pull-up drawer as well that gives you a few key shortcuts and access to things like the calculator and of course the torch, alarm, camera, and a few other things. You can also house apps together to form your own folders, be it messaging, or there's a default folder which says others. You have a default folder which has all the Google apps, and of course a folder which has the system app as well. Now, another very interesting thing about the smartphone you will notice is that there is an icon on the home screen that says freezer. Now, when you open the app, you will of course see an add icon, and you can actually add apps out here. Freezer is the place where you can lock less used apps. This prevents them from running in the background and saves battery life. So if you're someone that has a lot of apps on your smartphone and you just want to make sure that they aren't running in the background all the time, you can check them and hit OK, and they will be locked in the freezer, and you will get a little notification saying that saving 97.55 memory space, and it will also help with improving the battery life of the smartphone. Now, another cool feature of the 360 OS on the device is of course security. Now, there is an anti-theft app out here where you can actually log into an account, and it's essentially a Find My Phone. So you really don't need to worry too much if you've misplaced your phone or you can't find it. It is always easy to find your phone once you have logged in and registered with QiKU Cloud. It's a nice thing to see that you have a Find My Phone security app. You also have it in the system folder out here which says anti-theft. It leads you to the same app that can help you locate your phone in case you've ever misplaced it. So overall, the user interface of the smartphone is slightly different from stock Android UI, and we have seen custom UIs before, and this also gets added to the list. The custom UI brings with it a lot of features. One example of a feature is since it's running Android 5.1.1 under the custom UI, It's bringing some of the Android 6.0 features. So QiKU claims that a feature like Doze, which is on Marshmallow, is also incorporated in this UI. So if you've left the smartphone idle all night, you'll see that the battery consumption is less. That's a feature we've seen on Marshmallow, and it's been incorporated here as well. Now, the battery in the QiKU Q Terra is about 3700 mAh, and it will last you for about 1.5 days of use. So you really don't need to plug it into the charger the minute you get home in the evening. Now, the Q Terra comes equipped with some really advanced cooling modes. It has a thermal metal back, double stacking thermal graphite conductors, a cooling gel, and aerospace heat dispensation technology. And these special cooling techniques reduce and keep the hardware safe and steady. And essentially, if you're someone who's like a power user, then you can rest assured that even if the device gets hot, it's not going to get extremely hot, and the temperatures are going to be maintained. Now, of course, speaking of the temperature on the smartphone, we have in the settings a very cool thing called heat source. Now, what heat source does is it shows you the CPU temperature, and it gives you the normal temperatures between 0 to 45 degrees Celsius. Right now you can see it's 29 degrees Celsius, so it's fine. You also have a heat temperature alarm which you can switch on. So in case the CPU temperature reaches a certain temperature, you will get a notification. Once again, this will help you maintain the cell phone in a good condition. Of course, when there's a lot of heat, it can lead to problems, and this is a really nice way to monitor the temperature of the smartphone. Now, coming to some of the hardware specifications of the phone, like we said, the display has, it's a 6-inch IPS display with a full HD resolution. And under the hood, the phone is powered by the Snapdragon 808 SoC, and the hexa-core chip has been used by a number of smartphones in the past as well. Now, this QiKU phone has 3 GB of RAM and 16 GB of built-in storage. And like we said, there is of course a micro SD card support for up to 128 GB of expansion. And of course, the two 13 megapixel cameras at the back. So there you have it. Now you have a first quick look at the QiKU Q Terra smartphone that is priced at 19,999 with an invite and 21,999 without an invite, running on the Snapdragon 808 chipset, 3 GB RAM, 16 GB storage, and a 6-inch full HD display, which the company says has an 83% body to display ratio. The front camera on the smartphone is of course 8 megapixels. It's a selfie camera for you to take some pictures of yourself, and the camera app is fairly standard. It's got a bunch of modes. You have stuff like a beauty mode, a pro mode to give you a few more controls if you are an avid photographer. Also, the smartphone can record video in both 720p, 1080p, and of course 4K, which is become a standard now on smartphones. You can shoot in 4K as well. So there you have it. This is a quick overview of the QiKU Q Terra smartphone that launched recently in India.